We live in Brooklyn, baby. We live in Brooklyn, baby.
Hey everybody, how you doing? This is Ken and Skillet Sauce from Insanity Check, your favorite internet radio show.
Is this thing on? Is it their favorite?
It is now, damn it.
We're just saying that. Yeah, okay.
It is,
what is
the date?
What the hell is the date?
It's some day in January. It's damn cold.
It's January 16th.
And Skillet begged and pleaded with me to not go on to this subject, but...
No. Okay, see, this guy's making up stories. We could go into this subject. It's just that this subject brings out a terrible flaw that I have within my personality that I've had ever since I was a child. And in order for me to go into it, I don't think I'd be able to deviate from exposing that particular dark side of myself. And
necromancy?
Yeah, exactly. No, it's just no. Go ahead. Go ahead. You can start now, and then I'll tell you what's wrong with
this stupid gun shit again. Again, if you've seen
no,
show,
it's not just the stupid country, man. It's the stupid
I said
world,
stupid. Yeah, but I said stupid gun shit. But stupid country actually fits in quite well. If you saw one of our a couple of shows back when this whole Sandy Hook killing, child spree, murder, blah 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 took place, it ended off with Skillet going on a 7-minute rampage, roughly, spewing hate, venom, and ill will towards the morons out there who don't understand the the difference between eliminating one specific type of guns and eliminating people getting killed. Because apparently everyone who wants this gun control doesn't understand that that's just eliminating one specific type of weaponry, which happened to be used in spotlighted mass killings, whereas all the other guns that's killed roughly about 11,000 people a year
that can be modified to be automatic, by the way,
just don't get any attention. I was actually watching a YouTube video with Piers Morgan and Alex Jones, who's like poster boy for conspiracy nuts, and he kept on, Piers Morgan kept on asking him what guns were used in the mass killings in Columbine and the mass killings in Sandy Hook and the mass killings in yada, yada, yada. And while Alex Jones did answer his questions, Alex Jones was quickly asking him, why do you care about that? Because those guns are responsible for, what, maybe a couple hundred deaths a year?
No. I sent you the charts. Not
even that much?
30-something.
30-something.
Well, as far as how many were killed? The FBI they send out this thing about the people murders, specifically murders, United States, and it was, I believe it was 36 people. It was in the 30s. How many people actually killed with assault rifles in 2011? Since obviously 2012 just ended, so the 2011 statistics, as far as in how many people had actually died from handguns, which was
over 11,000. I remember that.
It was a huge amount of people that got, and then the amount of people that were beaten to death with just their hands, like 700 and something people, but just hand to hand, just duking it out, and somebody died.
Piers Morgan encapsulated the sentiments of several people I've talked to, certainly several people he's talked to, and the people most of all who want these gun control laws all of a sudden, is that it's more important to them to get these semi-automatic rifles off the market, not in the hands of citizens, than to stop citizens from getting killed. Because
there's no you can't get on your soapbox as easy for that,
So Piers Morgan is a complete asshole because over the course of several interviews I've seen, he'll ask questions which could completely answer. His position is destroyed, yet he won't respond to it. He just keeps asking more and more stupid questions. But this show is not about Piers Morgan.
I wouldn't have brought up Alex Jones because Alex Jones is a lightning rod himself.
No, he is.
The other guy, that young fellow, was very articulate.
But like I said to you in the email, Alex Jones, even though he was screaming his information, his information was still valid, and the points were still there. Of course, they probably brought him on, and most people like to look at how people say shit as opposed to what people say. I've experienced this numerous times in my life because I screamed 2 + 2 is 4. People were like, why are you screaming at me? Because 2 + 2 is 4, and you didn't want to hear me when I was saying it calmly like I'm saying it now. So now I'm going to scream at you because you're obviously stupid. But anyway, this is not even about Alex Jones. The only reason I even brought that up is because once again, you people show just how moronic and stupid and weak you are. And again, it is affecting your children, and here's why. Apparently, in Maryland, for the second time, a child was suspended for doing this. Okay? Bang, bang, shoot, shoot. They were playing cops and robbers. Maybe it would have been better if it was cowboys and Indians. I don't know, but they were playing cops and robbers.
Yeah, it used to be cowboys and Indians. Then it turned to like Star Wars.
Right.
But whatever it is, we've been doing this way before I was born. I remember seeing Ron Howard on the old
Andy Griffith
show. Playing cowboys. I mean,
that was in black and white.
That was in black and white. But that was then, and obviously this is now. So
for the second time in less than a month, a Maryland child kicked out of school for using his finger in the shape of a gun. Kai Jackson, I wonder if he's a Negro, has more on the controversy. Oh, Kai Jackson. Oh, he is a Negro. He just happens to be the reporter. No one is debating the importance of child safety, but the question is being asked: what's child's play and what's not? There's a controversy in Talbot County School after 2 6-year-old boys were suspended while playing cops and robbers during recess and using their fingers to make an imaginary gun. Obviously, the parents are outraged. Jesus H. Christ.
Now, were the kid that was playing the robber, was he doing like this, or was he doing like this?
Well, he said their hand.
They was using hand. He wasn't going like this.
Yeah.
Oh, just curious, because I don't understand why he would be suspended for doing this, because no one has a problem with you killing somebody like this. This is not the problem.
Well,
this is the problem.
The problem is again overreaction by the weak and the stupid.
Oh,
or being
that's too big of an imaginary gun.
Yeah, but see,
imaginary gun can only be the size of your hand.
Yeah, but I figured, since the imaginary gun has to mirror the gun that's actually being banned, I figured the kids would have to, get down on one knee, have their baseball cap backwards, paint on a 5 o'clock shadow.
No, you talking about a swatcher. No, he'd have to have his gun like this. He'd have to have, froth coming out of his mouth because he's crazy and mentally unstable. And he'd have to have a bottle of Prozac or Xanax or whatever these legal medications that these people are usually on while they go fucking batshit crazy and start shooting the shit out of everybody. Just pointing your fingers like this, and then she said pow sound, and I just went like that, da 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 da. Oh, the school reversed the decision after Rodney's parents appealed. Oh, how nice of them. They're saying he threatened to shoot a student. He was playing, Rodney's father says. I don't believe maliciousness was involved here. Kane says most 6-year-olds' minds aren't developed enough to understand why their idea of fun play might make adults upset. Pussy adults upset. We weren't upset by this when we were kids.
They actually sold zip guns. Hitting
someone with a fucking stick or a rock or breaking the skin, that's when you got an ass whooping for playing too hard or not doing something wrong. Pretending was never really a problem. Unless you're pretending to fuck your sister, which is always a problem. But that's not what they're doing here. I certainly appreciate that a school that's not a type of play and they are going to endorse, and I certainly support that, but that's where we educate the time and place for doing things. This is a really fucked up written article. Suspending them is a bit harsh, and I don't think that's going to do any good for the parent, child, or school. And basically, this was just a dumb-ass move. You people think you're trying to be heroic and show that you're taking steps to, protect the children that you're in charge of during the dinner. No, you're just being an asshole. And on top of that, again, you are softening these children. They are going to be weak and stupid, which is probably exactly what the fucking government wants. Weak and stupid and listen to anything. Everything is going to scare them. Everything is going to be a no-no. Everything is going to be a fucking problem. Because they're being stopped from doing every single thing. They're not given the tools to work shit out, to figure out how to deal with certain situations. You're just, poor me. But fuck all you people. Anyway, I'm going to the next goddamn story because that was just ridiculous.
Can I ask something real quick on the subject of the finger pointing guns? Mm-hmm. Do you guys watch basketball at all or no?
I was thinking of Cactus Jack with wrestling.
Cactus Jack, what did he do?
Nick Foley. Bang, bang. After he would do his move on you, he would get up and go bang, bang. He would literally go bang, bang.
Right.
That's what he would do.
But you were saying-
And I forgot, when certain dudes would shoot 3-pointers, I forgot what it was. They would go,
Yeah, well, even
That was
now,
Reggie Miller.
J.R.
Reggie Miller,
Smith,
yeah. Okay.
well,
Oh,
you
he's
know, when
doing
he
that
shoots
now?
a three, no, he literally, 1, 2, 3,
oh, really? Oh, okay.
and then Carmelo Anthony and Rasheed Wallace have this thing where they put, 3 to their head like that. In the explanation, and they ask Rasheed Wallace, what does that mean? So that's 3 to the dome.
Oh, wow. Which obviously means three headshots.
3 shots to the dome.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's, and that's acceptable for them
Yeah.
doing a public forum. But this little kid,
Well, when was this little exchange between Rasheed Wallace and the reporter take place?
this was recently. This was like maybe
season?
This season.
Oh, so-
yeah. This all
I'm
this stuff.
surprised.
I'm talking about like maybe within a few weeks.
Wow.
maybe a
Because-
month
Yeah,
or
something
so
tells me
ago.
Rasheed's going to be told to stop that
Yeah,
shit.
probably definitely going to be told to stop that. Because I mean, I just remember Nick Foley would always do that, go bang bang. I've seen numerous players, where they do something, with dead eye accuracy, they do something like that. But you know what?
Yeah, that's when people were actually adults.
No, like I said, what I'm just waiting for, I'll save my little. I just got one small commentary about this because I actually thought about how much stuff like that excerpt that I read from a conspiracy quacks handbook from
Hold on.
21 years ago. I'm not going to go into that, but you go ahead.
Well, I just want to say that this is how, in my opinion, rational people are dealing with the situation. And when I say situation, I mean these gun laws that are coming around the corner that's just been passed. Basically, Texas is not fucking around with you people. A Texas lawmaker says he plans to file a Firearms Project Protection Act, which would make any federal law that may be passed by Congress or imposed by presidential order, which would ban or restrict ownership of semi-automatic firearms or limit the size of gun magazines illegal in the state. 1200 WAI reports. The Republican says his measures also calls for the felony criminal charges to be filed against any federal official who tries to enforce the rule in the state. So basically,
Texans are crazy. No, I'm being devil's advocate. Texans are crazy. They're nuts. So anything that this particular person says doesn't have a leg to stand on. It's nuts. So that's the way you go around it. If the person's crazy.
if a federal official comes into the state of Texas to enforce the federal executive order, that person is subject to criminal prosecution. He says this bill would make attempting to enforce a federal gun ban in Texas punishable by a $50,000 fine and up to 5 years in prison. So basically, you go to Texas and try to take their guns.
They're drawing their line in the sand. But I mean, all it's going to do is start a firefight. And, like the guy said on the Piers Morgan show, when he said, Piers Morgan said, why would anyone need this particular type of gun? You can't, deers, you can kill deers with anything. You can kill deers with a bow and all sorts of stuff. And the guy said, the Second Amendment wasn't just put in place to protect us against armies coming in. It could protect us from our own army and our own government. He said, these guys become usurpacious and they want to come take over stuff. We would need something, to go against them. But then, people would think, well, that's impossible. There's no way that we would ever get into a situation in which the United States government would do anything against its own. And the guy's take on it is like, Piers Morgan was like, oh, but they can keep, people can keep handguns. Well, the government uses assault rifles. We did something on this show about how many hollow point and dum-dum bullets that the United States government, i.e. Homeland Security, purchased. I think that was one of our first shows, and those are anti-personnel rounds. Those are not anti-tank rounds. Those are not anything. Those are take out humans. And why would Homeland Security need to purchase, millions and millions of those bullets? So if I were a person that thought that maybe the government would try and do something and want to go, like this scenario, we are searching for terrorists. And since terrorists don't walk around with big T's on their head, we have to go building by building, home by home. And obviously, as you've ever seen the ATF or the DEA or any of these individuals, they all have AR-15s or better. They would not have to, fear someone shooting at them with a handgun. Now, if you had the same armaments that they had, they would have some pause. But that's if you're of the mindset, if you actually think your government would actually do something to warrant people being fearful. I mean, of course not. Why would that possibly happen? So, when you think about, these people, you know, saying, oh, these guns are bad and they, you know, you don't need to kill deer and only wackos, you know, do it when they want to kill the children, all sorts other kind of stuff. I'm thinking, you know, the thing that makes me a bad person, and I'll just tell you a little bit about, you know, just, you know, there's Skillet Sauce and then there's me, okay? And I was always the kind of person that if I warned you and said, hey, don't go down the block, because there's a couple of guys that don't like you. They don't like us. They don't like this block. So don't go to that next block because they're on the warpath, and I've heard from several sources that they're going to beat the hell out of you. If you decide, if I try and stop you and you decide, nah, you know what, you're a wacko, and you go down there and you get your ass beat, and you come back to me, I'm not going to give you a Band-Aid. I'm not going to call anybody. I'm going to ridicule you, and I'm going to hopefully cause so much more emotional damage to your physical damage that you'll just, you know, drive your head into a wall. I've had instances in my young life when I was less controlled to have actually caused people to really break down horribly. Because if I warn you and tell you something and you don't listen, then you get what you get. And I'm going to love the fact that you're going to be in pain and suffering. And that's a problem that I've had for 40 plus years. And I am hoping that nothing happens. I always hope that nothing happens. But if anything happens like that and people are all of a sudden with that old shit look on their face, you know, you get what you get. Because if you don't think that it's, you see, people just don't seem to, like the guy said, follow history and see that historically things have happened that's been so fantastic that nobody could have ever foreseen it happening. But since it did happen, it's part of our history. And if you don't think that there could be a scenario, and it may not be in my lifetime, his lifetime, my kid's lifetime, if I ever were to have them, but the fact that that is there to protect me in the event that this might happen, I'm not saying everybody should have one. I don't think everybody should have one. I don't think everybody should. I think most people should be locked up. I think most people should be put to death, really. I mean, because they shouldn't procreate.
Well, let's just get to the crux of the matter.
Yeah, most people should just be killed. There's too many people and there's too many stupid people on the planet. And if it was my way, I'd be just as bad as the people that I condemn because I would kill everybody. But I just think that what's happening now is just the beginning of something negative. That's, you know, and I think when all of the shit starts to really go bad, people aren't even going to be thinking about Sandy Hook. They're not, because there's going to be too much other stuff going on at that particular moment. And it brings me to, well, like I said, you know, I thought about this book that was the quack's book of choice. This book, even by the guy that wrote it, said, hey, most of the stuff in this book, I was a victim of misinformation, disinformation, and every other kind of information that's bad. But he had a passage in the book, and let me see if I can find it, that I think is, I thought I had it. Yeah, so I'm just going to read, and this book is like 1991. This book came out in 1991. And mind you, it is absolutely a kookery book with, you name it, aliens, spacemen, all kind of shit. But this was a passage that the person had in the book, and I'm like, wow, what a coincidence. Says the government encouraged the manufacture and importation of military firearms for the criminals to use. For all you people that don't know what's going over there in Mexico right now, the government, the DEA and the ATF were busted for selling assault rifles, not handguns, shotguns and assault rifles to the cartels over there in Mexico. It's not my words. I mean, they really just, but be that as may. So this is intended to foster a feeling of insecurity which would lead the American people to voluntarily disarm themselves by passing laws against firearms. Using drugs and hypnosis, crazy shit, on mental patients in a process called Orion, the CIA inculcated the desire in these people to open fire on schoolyards and thus inflame the anti-gun lobby. This plan is well underway and so far is working perfectly. The middle class is begging the government to do away with the Second Amendment. This was written in 1991 by a certifiable loon who said he had worked for the military and who claimed to have had inside intelligence on these long stretch plans, long reaching plans. And that was a passage from the book. So you could easily dismiss this dude. This guy actually got killed because he was a tax evader, because he didn't feel that the 16th Amendment was ratified. He was like, I'm not paying income tax on so-and-so. And he got to shoot a crazy certified of a grade A nut. But I found that particular passage to be quite interesting, specifically since this guy said he wasn't a prophet. He just said he just saw some documents that said that this was happening or was going to happen. So
There you have it. And that book, in case you were wondering, is called Behold the Pale Horse.
Behold-
It might be familiar to some.
By the author's name was William Cooper, and like I said, it is the easiest target for quackery you can possibly find, as far as in everything that sounds so ridiculous. And I mean, I'm literally like the you mix the X-Files with any crazy dude inside of his dorm room, and you mix it all together in one jambalaya. That is that book. But that passage was in that book, and I thought that was just kind of interesting. I guess maybe even crazy people can either foresee the future or just get lucky with a dead-on coincidence.
But the future has a break, so we must take one. And we'll be back in a couple of minutes.
Take breaks.
We're trying to